When we talk about listening, a lot of us really aren't sure what that means. I mean, it seems easy sounding, I'm listening, but listening isn't just passively receiving. Listening is engaging. Listening is making an active effort to understand the other person. That's listening. But we label a lot of things as listening. So today's video is about all the things we do that could be called listening by at least some people, but in fact aren't really listening. Or you might even call them faux listening. So one of my favorites is I hear you, or I understand, or I'm listening to you, or I'm getting what you're saying. All variations of I'm telling you that I hear you, but at the end of the day, you don't have any idea what I heard. It's not listening. Yeah, you might have taken in sound and you might have gotten some of what they said, but listening is a psychological process. Whatever you say has to get through all my stuff. Anything I say has to get through all your stuff. That's a more complicated process than we give it credit for. And a lot of us know that in here, but we don't get it, viscerally. So I hear you isn't listening. Uh-huh. Or grunting noises, or a head nod, or yeah, or sure, or whatever. And then later on, we say, I was listening. No, I was listening to you. But again, I don't have any information about what you heard. And that's even less communication than I hear you or I understand what you're saying. Again, acknowledging that you've said something is not listening. I want to say that one more time. Acknowledging that you spoke is not the same thing as listening. Here's a huge one. A lot of us listen to react. We're listening, but we're really waiting for our chance to speak. So you're flapping your yap there, and I'm impatiently kind of waiting for you to finish. One thing I can do is wait and then immediately grab the microphone. Okay, well, so what I feel about this, okay, so what I think, that's not listening either. It's reacting, but it's not responding. If the mission is to listen, and the mission is to listen, really at the beginning of any communication, before you dive into reacting, there's a piece of news, then my waiting to grab the mic to take the stage, that's not listening. There's another variation of this, which is I interrupt you. And as a confirmed interrupter, that's as bad or worse. You're talking, and what I have to say is so urgent that I got to walk over your words to get what I want to say said. There's multiple reasons we do that. Bottom line for this video, that's not listening. But it gets worse. There's listening defensively. I'm listening to you, but what I'm listening for is an attack. So I'm already irritated, or you seem mad, or I'm afraid of conflict, or pick 100 different ways to say this. Now I'm on the defensive, and if I'm on the defensive, I'm definitely not listening the same way. I'm having to listen around my shields or my walls. And so, for instance, we're listening for evidence that we're being attacked. That's the kind of listening, not the kind of listening you want if you're going to really communicate. Or you're focusing on things that would hurt you because you're expecting to be hurt from previous arguments or previous history. You're getting angry. Gee, that's going to really help listening if you're getting angry because anger is going to filter a lot of messages. And of course, passive aggressive, one of those favorite activities for those of us, and again, this is in my history, that we're afraid to speak directly. So now we're sending little cutting, angry, hurt messages. That's not listening either. Shutting down, a very common response when someone is talking to us and or we're nervous about what they're saying, or again, we're feeling defensive, or perhaps we're just not willing to engage on this topic. I just get quiet and I sit in silence. Ironically, some speakers hear that as listening or see that as listening. It's not. My walls are completely up. I'm not talking to you. I'm just going to avoid this conversation. There's one more style, which is really helpful at work, not really helpful in relationship, which is listening to problem solve. I listen for something to fix and I'm focused on the fixing, but again, I'm not listening. I'm especially not listening personally or emotionally. I'm just listening to get something resolved. Great response at work most of the time, maybe useful at home, but not nearly as useful as actually listening. Okay, so what do we have to do? Call me a lunatic, we have to listen. And listening really means reflecting back or summarizing, emphasis on summary, what the other person has said. They talk, we summarize, they confirm. They talk, we summarize, they confirm. Back and forth until both parties get listened to. Clarity, understanding, connection, all these things pop. I discuss the benefits in other videos, but the bottom line is listening is summarizing back what you've heard until you're both clear, and then you go back to conversation if that's necessary. That's listening. Folks, thanks for your time. See you next video.